ammonia is mixed with water, it will form ammonium hydroxide. Ammonia has the ability to donate a lone pair of electron, it can act as a ligand and it will form coordination compounds. We learn about nitric acid and you can see that ammonia is one of the raw materials used for the manufacture of nitric acid. The manufacture of nitric acid by Oswald's process, or it is also called as modern process. The product of oxidation depends upon the condition as well as the concentration of the acid. Hello my dear students, welcome back to the third session on the chapter P block elements. Last class we learnt about anomalous properties of nitrogen as well as preparation of nitrogen and manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process. I also told you it is a very important question, isn't it? Today we shall learn about the properties of ammonia and also manufacture of nitric acid and properties of nitric acid. Okay, so we'll start with physical properties of ammonia. Ammonia is a colorless gas and it has got a very pungent odor. That is, it is lighter than air but the stink is a really strong one and thus we call it, it has got a pungent odor. Okay, so that is the first two properties. Next, it is highly soluble in water, thus it will mix with water, it will become weakly basic, that is because of OH minus ion. When ammonia mixes with water, it forms ammonium hydroxide, thus it will have ammonium ion and OH minus ion, and due to the formation of OH minus ion, we call them as basic. Okay. Next is ammonia is highly soluble due to hydrogen bonding with water molecule. That is, ammonia molecule we have NH3 molecule and we have water molecule as well, that is H2O molecule, and there can be hydrogen bond formation between water molecule and ammonia molecule. Due to this they are highly soluble. Okay, so that is the fourth property. Fifth one, in ammonia nitrogen atom is sp3 hybridized. That means we have 4 hybridized orbital, but one of the hybridized orbital has lone pair of electron and the other 3 sp3 hybridized orbital is overlapping with the s orbital of hydrogen to form NH bond. 3 bonds are there between nitrogen and 3 hydrogen atoms. Due to the presence of lone pair, according to VSEPR theory, what happens? Between the lone pair and bond pair, repulsion is highest, isn't it? Repulsion is very high, thus it will push the bond pairs closer because between the bond pair repulsion is less compared to lone pair and bond pair. Thus bond pair will come closer and the bond angle, it should have been 109.5 degree for sp3 hybridization, but due to presence of a lone pair of electron, the angle is changed to 107.8 degree. Thus, it is not a tetrahedral structure, it has got a trigonal pyramidal structure. Okay. So, you have studied about the structure of ammonia more detailed in your first year. Here, you have to know what is the structure or what is the shape of ammonia molecule and why there is a change in angle. Okay. So, next we will be studying about the chemical properties of ammonia. First property is it is basic in nature. That means due to the presence of a lone pair of electron on nitrogen atom, it can behave as a Lewis base, that is ammonia NH3, nitrogen has a lone pair of electron, this can be donated, thus it will behave like a Lewis base. Not only that, it can readily accept a proton to form NH4 plus ion, that is ammonium ion can be formed. Thus it will behave like what? A Lewis base. Further, it can form ammonium salts when it is reacting with acids, that is ammonia NH3 with HCl, it will form ammonium chloride salt. Similarly, ammonia when it is treated with dilute sulfuric acid, it will form ammonium sulfate. So with the acids, it will form the salts. Okay. So that is the first property. Next we have formation of hydroxides. We know that when ammonia is mixed with water, it will form ammonium hydroxide. When ammonium hydroxide is added to the aqueous solution of the salt, like for example ferric chloride we have taken aqueous solution, for that we are adding ammonium hydroxide, what will happen? It will form a precipitate of hydrated oxide. So hydrated metal oxide we have Fe2O3 will be formed and XH2O, that means some molecules of water of hydration is there in the along with the metal oxide. Okay, so we'll get a hydrated metal oxide and we'll get ammonium chloride. Okay, similarly you can see when zinc sulfate was taken, for that when ammonium hydroxide was added, that is both are aqueous solution, this is zinc sulfate aqueous solution and ammonium hydroxide aqueous solution. When both are mixed, what will be formed? Ammonium sulfate will be formed and a precipitate of metal hydroxide. So what will happen is, if you take the aqueous solution of the metal salt, for example it can be zinc sulfate or it can be aluminium sulfate, etc. For this, when we are adding ammonium hydroxide, it will precipitate the metal as its hydroxide. So you will get a metal hydroxide precipitate and ammonium with the sulfate ion will be formed ammonium sulfate, or it can form the precipitate of hydrated metal oxide. Okay, so that's about the reaction of ammonium hydroxide with the metal salts. Okay, next is formation of complex compound. Now as ammonia NH3 has a lone pair of electron, it can act as a ligand because it can donate a pair of electron to the metal ion. Thus it will act as a ligand and it will form coordination compounds or coordination complexes. So first one, in the presence of Cu plus 2 ion in aqueous, and if you are adding ammonia, what will be formed? We get a complex, that is cuprammonium ion will be formed. Okay, that is deep blue color. If we have Ag plus aqueous and Cl, first we will get the precipitate of AgCl. You take the precipitate of AgCl, for that if you add ammonia, you get white precipitate of AgCl. For that if we are adding ammonia, you will get a complex of, what is this name of this complex? It is diamine silver chloride. Okay, so you'll get a precipitate of the complex which is formed, and you can see white precipitate, it is getting converted to colorless complex. Okay, so thus as ammonia has the ability to donate a lone pair of electron, it can act as a ligand and it will form coordination compounds. Next is the uses of ammonia. The main use of ammonia is in fertilizers, that is in manufacture of fertilizers like ammonium sulfate, ammonium nitrate, ammonium phosphate, etc. Next use is in manufacture of chemicals like nitric acid, sodium carbonate, etc. We learn about nitric acid, and you can see that ammonia is one of the raw materials used for the manufacture of nitric acid. Okay. Next is it is used to form aqueous solutions like ammonium hydroxide. It is a very important laboratory chemical. We use ammonium hydroxide very frequently, and how do we prepare that? That is using ammonia. Okay. Next, it is used in making artificial silk. Also, liquid ammonia is used as a refrigerant. It is used as a refrigerant. So, these are the uses of ammonia. Next, we will be learning about nitric acid, HNO3. First method of preparation is something which we are using in the lab, that is laboratory preparation. So, nitric acid is prepared by heating alkali nitrate, that can be sodium nitrate, or I can take even potassium nitrate, with concentrated sulfuric acid. When it is heated, what is it? You are taking sodium nitrate or potassium nitrate with concentrated sulfuric acid. When it is heated, what happens here is H plus ion with NO3 will form nitric acid and NaHSO4 will be formed. This is laboratory method of preparation of nitric acid. Next, we will be learning about the manufacture of nitric acid in large scale, that is in industries. How exactly, or commercial method of manufacture of nitric acid by Oswald's process or modern process. This particular manufacture of nitric acid has got 4 steps. So, first step is oxidation of ammonia to nitric oxide. So, we are taking ammonia and mixing it with air. Air is nothing but oxygen, okay? And it is passed over platinum rhodium gauze catalyst at 500 Kelvin and 9 bar pressure to form nitric oxide. This reaction is highly exothermic reaction, thus the temperature is maintained because it's an exothermic reaction. You need not continuously heat. Once it is kept at 500 Kelvin, then the temperature is maintained as the reaction itself is liberating heat. Okay. Now, the nitric oxide which is formed in the first step is then undergoing oxidation to form nitrogen dioxide. That is, nitric oxide is further mixed with air below 100 degrees Celsius. Nitric oxide reacts with oxygen to form nitrogen dioxide. Next, we will go to the next step. Step 3 is formation of nitric acid. So, you take nitrogen dioxide and it is cooled, okay, to 50 degrees Celsius. Then it is mixed with water to form nitric acid, and nitric oxide is also formed here. Now, you can see this nitric oxide which is formed in the third step is again recycled, and it is used in the second step to get more nitrogen dioxide. So, nitric oxide formed is used again over here. So, what we are doing? Nitrogen dioxide mixed with water, you will get nitric acid and nitric oxide. Nitric acid which you have obtained here in the third step is then further concentrated by distillation, okay, and you will get 68% of nitric acid. But further you want concentrated acid, that is, if you want 98% of nitric acid, then you will have to do it by dehydration process with concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay. So, what we are doing? Nitric acid which is obtained in the third step is not a concentrated nitric acid. We will get 68% of nitric acid by distillation. After that, which it will form an azeotropic mixture. Further, you cannot concentrate it by using distillation process. Thus, we will have to do dehydration process to remove excess amount of water to get 98% of nitric acid. Okay. So, we will revise again. What is it? Ammonia is mixed with air and then it is passed through the converter. In the converter, we have platinum gauze at 500 Kelvin and 9 bar pressure. Here the pressure should be 9 bar, that is the gases should be mixed and the pressure should be increased to 9 bar. Platinum rhodium gauze is at 500 Kelvin, and here ammonia mixes with or reacts with oxygen to form nitric oxide. This nitric oxide is then passed through the oxidation chamber, where nitric oxide is mixed with more air to form nitrogen dioxide. Further, nitrogen dioxide is passed through the absorption chamber. In this chamber you have quartz pieces, okay, for the adsorption process, and then nitrogen dioxide is mixed with water. Water is continuously sprinkled there. So what will happen? Nitrogen dioxide will mix with water to form nitric acid. Thus we will get nitric acid. There are some other gases which is produced like nitric oxide. So thus those gases are removed and then further it can be recycled or it can be used again. So that's about the manufacture of nitric acid by Oswald's process, or it is also called as Morden process. Okay. Next, we learn about the physical properties of nitric acid. Anhydrous nitric acid is a fuming liquid which has got a pungent smell. But laboratory grade nitric acid is 68% nitric acid and has a specific gravity of 1.504. Okay, and this is the structure of nitric acid. You can see HNO3, nitrogen with oxygen, it is bonded, 3 oxygen atom and 1 oxygen atom is bonded to hydrogen. You can see between the two bonds it is 102 degree and 96 picometer is this bond length. Nitrogen to oxygen it is 121 picometer, 2 bonds, but with the other one it is 140.6 picometer. Okay, that's about, it's a planar molecule and that is about the structure of nitric acid. Next we have the chemical properties of nitric acid. First one is oxidation of metals. Concentrated nitric acid reacts with most of the metals except for noble metals like gold and platinum. But the product of oxidation depends upon the condition as well as the concentration of the acid. So we'll see some of the reactions with some of the metals. That is, first one is reaction with copper. You can see copper, when it is treated with dilute nitric acid, it will form copper nitrate, that is the common product here, but with dilute nitric acid it will form nitric oxide gas, whereas copper, when it is treated with concentrated nitric acid, it forms nitrogen dioxide gas. So you have to remember, copper, when it is treated with dilute HNO3, it will liberate nitric oxide gas, whereas with concentrated nitric acid it will liberate nitrogen dioxide gas. But the other two products along with those gases, that is same, that is copper nitrate, water and water. But you should be very careful with the balancing of the equation. Unbalanced equation, if you just don't balance the equation, then you are going to lose marks. Okay, if the equation is not balanced, it is equal to not writing the equation at all in your exam. Is it clear? So please learn to balance the equation. Next is reaction with zinc. You can see here, zinc, when it is treated with dilute, that is 20% nitric acid, it will liberate dinitrogen oxide gas, N2O gas. Okay, whereas when it is treated with 70% concentrated nitric acid, then nitrogen dioxide gas is liberated. So even zinc, when it is treated with dilute, that is 20% nitric acid, you will get N2O. With concentrated, that is 70% nitric acid, you will get nitrogen dioxide gas. Okay, the other products are same, that is zinc nitrate, water and water. Only balancing you have to be careful. So I hope you have understood about the oxidation of metals. Next, oxidation of non-metals. Okay, concentrated nitric acid oxidize non-metals to their oxides or highest oxo acid. So it can be converted to oxide or oxo acid. For example, carbon, when it is reacting with nitric acid, it forms carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and water, whereas iodine, when it reacts with nitric acid, it will form an oxo acid, that is iodic acid is formed, nitrogen dioxide and water is liberated. Okay, so some of the non-metals to oxides, some of the non-metals to oxo acids it can be converted. Okay, there are some metals which do not react, like aluminum and chromium. They do not dissolve in concentrated nitric acid at all. That is because the first layer of chromium or aluminum metal will react with nitric acid to form a passive film of oxide. A passive film of oxide is formed. So further the metal is not getting exposed to the nitric acid at all, thus it will not react at all. Okay, so what does it form? It forms a passive oxide film is formed. That's the first layer of the metal will react with the nitric acid to form a film of oxide. So it will prevent the other metal to come in contact with the nitric acid. Thus aluminum cans were earlier used for transport of nitric acid. Okay, so that's about oxidation of non-metals. Next we have something called as Brown ring test. It is used as a confirmatory test for nitrate ions. Okay, so what are we doing? We are taking the given salt solution. It may be any salt which contains nitrate. For example, we can take strontium nitrate, or we can take barium nitrate, or we can take potassium nitrate. Okay, so we are taking a nitrate salt solution. Then we are adding dilute ferrous sulfate solution. So more salt contains ferrous sulfate. So we are taking a dilute ferrous sulfate solution. We have taken the salt solution. We'll mix both of them. Then we will add concentrated sulfuric acid along the side of the test tube. Slowly you have to add from the side of the test tube. As concentrated sulfuric acid has got higher density, it will slowly move down, and the junction where the sulfuric acid and the mixture salt solution is mixed, the junction will get a brown colored ring. Okay, that brown colored ring at the junction of two liquids is what is your observation, and that confirms that the nitrate ion is there in the salt. So what we are taking in a test tube? We are taking given salt solution, any salt solution, okay, plus we are adding ferrous sulfate solution, okay. So we have that solution. Then you have to add concentrated H2SO4 from the side of the test tube. Slowly it will move and it will come down. So when it comes like that, now you have your concentrated H2SO4 and your salt solution. So at this junction there is a brown colored ring which is formed. That is called as the brown ring test. Okay, and this brown ring will be there only if there is nitrate ion in your salt. If there is no nitrate ion, then you will not get this brown ring. Thus it is used for detection of the nitrate ion in any inorganic salt. Okay. Next, uses of nitric acid. In the manufacture of fertilizers like ammonium nitrate and calcium nitrate, we are using nitric acid. It is used in manufacture of explosives like TNT, and also it is used in manufacture of nitric acid, nitroglycerin or dynamite. Okay. Next, it is used in the manufacture of artificial silk, dyes, drugs, perfumes, and also it is used as a laboratory reagent. So these are the uses of nitric acid. Okay. So next class we will be learning about oxides of nitrogen, structure of oxides of nitrogen, phosphorus, and about phosphine. Okay. So I hope you have understood today's class. Thank you, my dear children. Stay tuned, stay focused.